people call me a little narcissist and self-obsessive, and who loves himself and all. So, and all actors are. The only thing
Nothing bad.
sometimes you have so much to offer, and but circumstances and situations and rules and regulation make you hang up your boots. And there is a certain kind of a. And I've seen so many people who have hung up their boots when they had so much to offer and they've gone through so much of depression.
I want young people to watch my films and, be like, wow, he really didn't kind of conform, and, his work is very original, and, we can take some sort of inspiration from that. We don't have to follow any rules.
With me the team of Thar joining in. Thar is soon going to be streaming only on Netflix. I have with me the ever so amazing, ever so charming Anil Kapoor. I have with me someone who's always set out to give us a new experience whenever he's doing a film, Varrdhan Kapoor. And I have with me this man who's just taken us into this world which looks so immersive and so new, Raj Singh Chaudhary. Welcome everybody. Welcome. How are we?
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much.
Well, first of all, I have to congratulate you on the trailer because it's doing so well. People are really excited about the film. So I think that's just off to a good start, right? So, congrats on that. And what's amazing and what I really like here about the trailer is the fact that the trailer is not really giving away too much, because we've had a lot of films where you can literally see the entire film in the trailer, which doesn't really make sense here. But, it's nice that people still have like a lot of curiosity about the film. I do want to know from Anil sir and from Harsh first, if you could, sort of introduce us to the world of Thar and a little bit about your characters.
Introduce you to the world of Thar. It's kind of the idea behind the trailer was actually exactly what you said. It wasn't about really underlining and spelling out the entire premise of the film. It was more about kind of conveying the mood and the atmosphere and the ambience of the film, and revealing very little about character and creating intrigue and mystery, because that lends itself very nicely to the narrative in the film, right? Which is something you'll understand more deeply once you've seen the film. But the world is unique. You don't really know who to like, who to hate, who to love or feel indifferent towards. Nothing is underlined for the audience. Nothing is spoon fed. It's all open to your own perception and interpretation, and I think that's the most exciting thing about the film. So sometimes you have films where the world of the film, like you've talked about in your kind of assessment of the trailer, is a very new world. But then when people do sometimes films set in kind of expansive, large new worlds, the narrative is kind of more simplistic and full of tropes. But here, Thar is a great combination of a really, really detailed kind of new, specific, unique world, but the narrative is not straightforward either. So there's a lot of firsts, and it's all really very new. So it's set in Rajasthan, but not the Rajasthan we kind of have been familiarized with over the course of the last couple of years, and it's very new. We've gone to very obscure locations, and it's not beauty or landscape for the sake of beauty or landscape. It's all very symbolic to the state of mind of the characters, to the mood of the film, really. Like you've kind of seen that buffalo carcass in the trailer. You've seen the faces of the locals, whether it's that old man smoking a cigarette or that woman kind of looking at me for a distance as I go up to Fatima's door before she opens the door and stuff, So it's all to kind of create a certain mood and a mystery, and so yeah, we're trying to do something very kind of new here. As far as the characters are concerned, can't really reveal too much because it's a character-driven film. It's not a plot-driven film. So if I reveal too much about the character, you'd kind of know what the story of the film is. But having said that, people are, not always who they seem, right? You should never really judge a book by its cover. And there are many layers to people. People do things for different reasons. If something were to happen to someone, people would kind of use that and behave in many multiple different ways. So it really explores kind of that side of the coin, I would say. Yeah. Sense, yeah.
Okay, Anil sir, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, because I can talk about my character because I could relate to it because he is, been working, lives in this place called Munabo, around Munabo, and he's kind of a, sub inspector over there, and of course, the top in the hierarchy, he's not moved up for many years, and but obviously he's got so much to offer, but still, he has to hang up his boots, and that's what. So there is a sword hanging on his head by his seniors that what's happening? Why aren't you? I said I'm trying, I'm doing my best, but he's not yet got his due to a certain extent what he's capable of doing, and somebody he feels is not being encouraged but constantly discouraged, not only by the people above him but also from his family. So keeping everything in mind, all those kind of things. So I could really somewhere, as I said earlier, also it is a very ageist kind of world in a way, and where sometimes you have so much to offer, and but circumstances and situations and rules and regulation make you hang up your boots, and there is a certain kind of a, and I've seen so many people who have hung up their boots when they had so much to offer and they've gone through so much of depression. But where I am for this character is concerned of Surekha, he gets this opportunity where so much is happening, and there is a character which comes from the city, and there's everything. Everything is in that part of the world. Everything is going. It's like a disruptive kind of a situation, and he's there to handle the situation, and how he handles and how he what happens personally and professionally is my character in a way. So it was. I love doing this role, and of course, more than anything else, I think I had an opportunity of working with new actors, with the new director, new DOP, music, costume. So it was a great mix of youngsters, a lot of girls on the set, which was fantastic, and including our director of photography was like seeing violence, but Harsh always says, which is great. There is violence in the film, there is sex in the film, there are a lot of things which, but it's seen through the lens how a lady or a girl would see. So there is a certain kind of the way it's been shot, and the colors, and with director, and with Raj being as a director, the entire team has tried to give an experience, hopefully, which is slightly original and something unique. And I hope people also feel the same way, the way I felt. I enjoyed doing this film.
I want to know from Raj, like how Harsh spoke about, shooting in Rajasthan and, all of that. Were there any challenges that you all faced while filming there? Because, of course, we had the pandemic as well, going in, coming out, and, we don't really know what's happening there. But also apart from the fact that you're shooting in Rajasthan, which looks beautiful, but I'm sure it must have been a little challenging as well. Tell me a little about that.
No, they were all rough terrains. In fact, there were locations that were 1.5 hours away from where we were staying. There was certain locations where we had to build roads because production said nahi ho paega, but we found those locations. They were amazing, and we had to shoot there, and they were all very rough terrains to reach, and it was a tough film to shoot from that perspective. And we had a leopard attack.
What?
Yeah, we had at one of the locations. So yeah, it's like the film. The shooting was also it was very tough, very, what do you call it, gritty, and it was that way in that sense. Yeah.
Harsh, like I said in my introduction as well, you're someone like whenever we see you doing a film, it's just very different from the quintessential films that we've been seeing. So is that really a conscious decision where you're trying to add something more to like the pop culture kind of a genre? I don't know. That's what I've been feeling looking at the choices that you've been making of late. Not of late. Ever since you started. So what do you think about that?
I think when we're in a place now where we obviously have been doing many interviews for days. And so I think that it's a really good question, actually, because it with this question, like I can answer it in multiple ways. So I'm going to try and take a new approach to this, actually. It's like, when I was growing up, like at the time, there was really the beginning of an influx of a lot of Western influence in our country, so like when I was like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, you had like Brad Pitt, Tom Cruise, Johnny Depp. You had all of these three actors kind of doing really cool work. You had Johnny Depp was the edgy kind of outsider who was doing Edward Scissorhands, and Tom Cruise was the beautiful all-American boy that was doing like Risky Business and The Color of Money, and Brad Pitt was doing 12 Monkeys and Seven, and all of those films. And I was in my formative, like as a teenager, I was looking at those actors and I'm like, wow, man, these are all really beautiful men, but they're such interesting men. Like they're so diverse, and you could tell like the difference between each of them with the work that they did. They really underlined what it means to be Johnny Depp. What does it mean to be Brad Pitt? What does it mean to be Tom? And it's their choices that define them, right? And you see how their careers have progressed. And Johnny Depp is obviously kind of done the Pirates thing, and then done his films have he's a legend, obviously, but I think the more exciting work came then. But I think Brad Pitt really is the one that stood out because of the choices that he's made, right? He's like recently won an Academy Award. You look at his filmography, they're all great films. There's one thing in common, always Brad Pitt always puts the film before himself, and he works with the best directors, and he never focuses on the way that he looks. So I think that that he's a huge inspiration for me, and so what I'm trying to do is I'm not trying to, create some massive social change or movement or make a political statement with any of my films. Like you said, it's very much the pop culture thing also. Is like I want young people to watch my films and, be like, wow, he really didn't kind of conform, and, his work is very original, and, we can take some sort of inspiration from that. We don't have to follow any rules. We can kind of try and be who we want to be. And obviously in any sort of art is an extension of oneself.
Yeah.
And so therefore, I think if you're kind of going in with that philosophy, even if you're an actor, your choices kind of define who you are. So I think it's kind of those things. And if I can look back, this is my 5th acting credit, but if I can look back maybe after 15 or 20 or 10 or 15 or 20 and be like, they're all so different. And if that can inspire anyone, even a small number of people, that would be really something to really celebrate, I think, so.
But growing up, did you have any favorites from Anil sir's filmography? We've grown up watching him and such amazing films he's had.
Yeah.
So anything in particular that, you'd love revisiting, or something that you really liked watching while growing up as well?
I like My Wife's Murder. It's a film that Ram Gopal Verma produced, that Gigi Phillips directed, for when Ramu was kind of producing a lot of films at that time. I think it was early 2000s that it came out. So at that point, I was old enough to kind of understand, but upon revisiting the film, it's a very strong film. And then you have Pukar, you have Nayak, you have Slumdog, you have Dil Dhadakne Do, you have AK versus AK. So I like more like the cutting edge, the new stuff, just because that's more my taste. If I kind of go further back in time, I can still appreciate, like I like Parinda a lot from that era, but I think the further I go back, the more disconnected I feel, So I think My Wife's Murder, Slumdog Millionaire, Dil Dhadakne Do, AK versus AK, these are the films, and Parinda, these are my favorite films, from that. But I think the cool thing about that filmography is that everybody will have different favorites, right?
Yeah.
That's the most, and like that's what I want for myself also, is like, some people will like Bhavesh, and some will like Vasan's film, and some will like Thar, and as now we're doing the Bindra biopic, maybe that'll become a favorite. And but the one thing in common is that it shouldn't be like, he did 5 films, but they all kind of feel the same with small changes here and there.
Yeah.
So
Okay, fair. Anil sir, I want to know from you, literally everybody who's there in the industry, who's like, relatively a new star, a new actor, they really look up to you and your filmography, like Harsh just said, because it's just so varied and it's just has literally something for everyone out there. If you had to give a tip to, all the budding actors out there, or like, someone like Harsh as well, what would you want to say to them?
No, matter of fact, I'm too selfish. I don't give tips. I take tips from them. People call me a little narcissist and self-obsessive, and who loves himself and all. So, and all actors are. The only thing
Nothing bad.
So I would rather take tips from them. So what I should do? So I keep on asking them. I said, what should be my next? And that's the way I am. So I never really give tips to anybody. I take tips from people.
Okay, we'll settle with that. But I want to know from everybody, lastly, what do you want to say to the audience who's like really looking forward to watching Thar on Netflix?
Really? Yeah. Okay. No, I think, I'm going to try and kind of make this kind of a new way of approaching this question. Is I see, look, man, I know people are very busy, and there's a lot to choose from right now, but I think if you feel like you want to kind of sit at, there are some people that really want to think about a film long after it's finished, and when a film stays with them, they know that it's a truly good film. Even if during the time they're watching it, they don't know what to think, and they're a bit uncomfortable, or they're a bit apprehensive, but they follow through. They go through with the experience. They commit to watching the film. I think if you are kind enough and open-minded enough to give this film a chance and go through the experience of watching it, it's a film that won't leave you. It'll stay with you. It'll have a long-lasting impact on you, and it will kind of make you ask yourself questions. It'll put you there in that environment and almost be like, what would I do if I was him, or if I was her? And that's a beautiful thing. It's not just the film is only an hour 40 minutes, and it's a very tight edit, so we're not asking for 3 hours of your time. It's kind of a quick in, quick out, but those are in 100 very engaging, very intense, uncompromising minutes. And the film, I hope, will have some sort of an emotional sort of reaction, So if you kind of want to have that sort of a deep, kind of like a moving experience, I would really request you to kind of to spare us 100 minutes,
It's also a human story. And it will connect. What we're saying with the film will connect with everybody, man, woman, child, from the villages to the second-tier cities to a city like Mumbai. And with this film, I think I believe that it will also resonate internationally.
Lovely. Okay, that sounds amazing. I think that's all the time we had, but this was so much fun. I think we will have to wait for the 6th to know more about the world of Thar, because I think that's the entire intrigue about. But it was so nice talking to all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
It was fun.
Thank you so much.